Hi, Gunners all around the world. Hi to football enthusiasts all around the world. I'm your host, Simply Ike, on another edition of the Arsenal Alchemy. I had a very swell weekend. I had a good weekend. It was basically just staying home, relaxing, and I was off work this weekend, so yeah. It was international weekend. And so it's kind of a lull in the football world, apart from the international games going on, but when it's not Premier League, when the leagues are not active, it's kind of it's almost like something is missing during the weekend. And with that being said, we have some bumper news for you today. There are two subtitles to our content today. The first one is the news we got that Arsenal have put in a proposal to extend the Emirates Stadium, to extend the capacity, to increase the seating capacity of the stadium. So currently we are on 60,000 capacity, 60,000 and some change. And the new proposal is gonna take the capacity to 80,000, and it's gonna be a 33% increment in match day revenue, which is a very, very welcome development. But for those of us that supported Arsenal during when the Emirates was being built, just before we moved from Highbury to the Emirates Stadium. That period marked the darkest period in our history in terms of trophies, titles, and what have you, So then we were happy to have a coach in Arsene Wenger back then who kind of managed the situation, because we built the Emirates Stadium with about £400 million. And during that period, we couldn't buy players. We were handicapped in the transfer market. We couldn't buy players. We're not active. We were actually even selling our best players to our rival teams. Some of our players were like, hey, they're tired of, sticking around, and they were ready to leave. So, that was the downside of building the Emirates Stadium. We are hoping this period that if we have to extend our seating capacity in the stadium at the Emirates, we are hoping this will not deter us from being active in the transfer window market. So what are your thoughts about that? I feel some kind of way, because I don't want to go back to the way we used to be. I don't want to go back to, selling our best players, sell the players, make a profit of them. Then instead of reinvesting with the funds, we go pick up a mediocre player on loan from another team. So these are the things we went through when we were building the Emirates Stadium. And even when we built it, when we moved in 2006, most of our marquee players used the opportunity to leave. I'm talking about Ashley Cole, Thierry Henry, Robert Perez, Sylvain Wiltord. Most of these guys left that period. And Arsene Wenger had to, make do with what he had. He had no transfer budget money for him to buy the kind of players we needed. In fact, that period, Arsene Wenger was, he was pointing at the players he needed, but there was never never funds to get us players. So now with the news that we're about to extend our stadium, we're about to renovate and enlarge the seating capacity. It's kind of brings this nostalgia to me, and I feel this might be another lull period in the transfer market for us. I'm hoping not, but whenever any Arsenal player hears about extension of stadium, building a new stadium, we know that means the funds will be stifled. We know it means the funds are not going to be readily available. So it makes me kind of nervous about it. But at the same time, I understand that the club needs to make money, and this will, if this goes through, this will make the Arsenal Stadium the highest seating capacity stadium in England, at least in England, and even in the world, it's gonna be like the top 5 highest in the world. So it's a welcome development. We want the club to make money. We want the club to grow in revenue. And at the same time, we want the club to perform on pitch. We want the club to win trophies. We haven't won a trophy in going on 4 years. We remember the FA Cup, right in the middle of Unai Emery's reign. And that was when Mikel Arteta took over. And we won the FA Cup. That was in 2020. I think that was in the middle of the pandemic. It wasn't a good period, but we did win it, and that's the last trophy. That's the last real big trophy we've won. We're not gonna count the Charity Shield Cups, and we're not gonna count all those. The rivals will have something to talk about. But yes, what do you think about this? Do you think we can pull this off while still performing on the pitch and while still performing on the transfer market? Like I always say, feel free to chat with us. Feel free to go on the internet. Feel free to send messages. Feel free to interact with us, and I'll be your host there. And most importantly, please do hit the subscribe button. We need subscribers. We are quite new. We need subscribers to grow. We need subscribers to give you better content. And that's all for now. Until next week, when I'll bring you another package of the Arsenal Alchemy. Thank you.